Hi guys, welcome back to Dev Astrology. Now, some of you loved my 2026 predictions. I have done two elements of that, a detailed prediction as well as 12 positive insights for 2026. And many of you sent comments that Dev, why don't you give a series on Rahu Ketu axis as well to give us a better clarity as to what can be anticipated from them? Now, of course, the transit of Rahu and Ketu is not happening in terms of a sign shift all the way until December. However, we will be seeing nakshatra transits coming into picture. And very recently, I had released the Rahu in Shatabisha video. If you've not had a chance, I will, of course, urge you guys to put a quick search of Dev Astrology and you will be able to find out that video. Now, in today's video, what we're going to do is we are going to just get a short, brief glimpse into this Rahu Ketu axis and understand what it is going to mean for us. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to jump into the video and give you an insights about the key dates that are going to be coming into picture, which is going to give you a lot of clarity as to what should be happening at what time period. And the structure of this video is also in a way where you are going to understand the shifts coming in different phases and the eventual conclusion for your sign. So guys, as you can see on your screen here, I have called out the key dates that are going to be coming into picture, wherein Rahu has recently, at the time of the recording of this video, already transited into the Shatabisha nakshatra earlier in December 2025. Later, Rahu will be making a shift into the Dhanisht nakshatra, which will happen mid of August 2026. And finally, the shift is going to come into Makar Capricorn Rashi on December 5th, 2026. Whilst on Ketu's side, we see that Ketu is currently placed in Purv Falguni nakshatra in 2025. But as you enter 2026, on March 29th, Ketu will get into Magha nakshatra. Now guys, that is its own nakshatra where it becomes extremely powerful. And eventually, Ketu will transit into Ashlesha nakshatra on December 5th, 2026, when it enters into the sign of Cancer. Aries. For you guys, this transit is happening on 5 and 11, and it is going to be one of the most powerful financial year for 2026, because for most part of the year, 11 months out of 12, this axis remains consistent where Rahu is placed in your 11th house of gains, whilst Ketu is in the 5th house of your creativity, children, education, romance, and speculation. Now, guys, you can understand here that this is going to be a classic wealth versus ego management, ego trade-in situation coming into picture. Rahu is in the 11th house. It's going to be acting as if a genie in the bottle. It's going to bring in, unlock certain strength areas for you, expand your goals, desires, wishes for that matter, and even urge you harder and faster to achieve those objectives. Bring that sudden gains, those sudden income into place, help you grant your wishes, your desires, bring an expansion in massive proportions in terms of your network, in terms of your social circle, whilst Ketu is there in the 5th house demanding a prize from you, because this Ketu is going to detach you. It is going to bring in detachment from validation, from romances, from the speculative risks that you have been undertaking or plan to undertake. So that is a crucial bit that you have to remember in mind. And what we're going to do is we are going to break down this period in terms of the phases that you are going to see in the next year to get a better clarity of what is anticipated. Now, first and foremost, the first phase starts for you where you act or bring those capabilities of healing nature in you, in your network, in your surroundings. I'll define this period from January 1st to May 29th. Now, this is the time when Rahu is going to be in Shatabisha nakshatra, whilst Ketu is going to be in Purva Falguni nakshatra for you folks. Now, you've got to understand that the three key highlights for this phase is going to be number one, in terms of bringing gains through healing, your income, your day-to-day work profile, your speculative gains, your desires, your wish fulfillment may shift towards the direction of technology, healthcare, or maybe fixing large scale problems that you see around you. Technology is going to be the key lever during this phase. I anticipate, Aries, that if you are in the tech space or in the medicine industry, in healthcare and life sciences, there could be an unexpected windfall gain as well that might come in your life. Of course, you've got to remember this is a transit perspective that I'm sharing with you folks. Number two, there is going to be a sort of social detox coming into picture, because this is the placement where Rahu is going to be bringing friends into your life, expanding your social circle for that matter. But at the same time, operating out of Shatabisha Nakshatra means it is going to be about scrutiny, it is going to be about secretive nature, and therefore you might go about joining a small coterie of friends, a hidden community, exclusive group of some sorts, where you feel elevated in terms of that Rahu's nature, but at the same time there is some degree of confinement, there is some degree of secrecy coming in that group. So you might form your own WhatsApp connections, you might start socialization with a specific niche of people in your life. However, I want you to be careful during this phase, because this is the time where your friends might also try and keep secrets from you. So you will have to be cognizant that it is just not about you keeping secrets, but secrets being kept from you as well, especially if Rahu's weak in your natal chart. Point number three, there is going to be some sorts of boredom creeping in your life from a romance perspective. There could be disassociation, detachment coming in from that perspective, because Ketu is operating in Purv Falguni Nakshatra of Venus itself. So you might feel deprived, or you might eventually deprive yourself out of that fun, that creativity, that enjoyment. Somewhere there will be a lot of seriousness also coming into play in your life. There could be a situation where you're not really able to enjoy those parties, those get-togethers. You feel alienated in some of those places, out of place for that matter. Dating culture or dating lifestyle could get impacted for many of you, or there could be a hit maybe in terms of not being able to prioritize your hobbies, your creative pursuits that keeps you engaged. So that is going to be definitely coming into picture in the first 3 months. You will have luxury, but you might not have the time or the interest to enjoy and leverage that luxury during this period. My one warning here is, guys, if you can see on the picture which I've put on the screen, that Rahu is giving an aspect towards the third house from here, which means that you've got to be very careful whilst signing any kind of contracts, especially with your friends, getting into any kind of deal making, collaboration. Just be watchful of any kind of fine prints coming into picture, because something might be hidden by your friends or from your friends, given that he is in Shatbisha Nakshatra. Now, as you move further, phase 2 is the period which starts from April 29th all the way till August 23rd. Now, this is the time which, Rahu is in Shatabisha whilst Ketu is entering the Magha Nakshatra for you guys. Now, this is a time, folks, Magha, it's the star of the ancestors, Pitra. And ancestral celebration is done in all cultures, is what I've understood over the years. And somewhere or the other, that depiction is coming in with Magha constellation itself, because it is ruled by Ketu. And that is why we say that Ketu is the carrier of your past life karmas, your past life strength and weaknesses as well. And this is a time where double effect, double impact of Ketu could come into picture. It's going to be extremely spiritual oriented. Your drive, your mantra sadhana will become crucial. Now, the three things that you have to remember in phase 2 is that, number one, any kind of pregnancy related matters, karmic pregnancy coming into picture, childbirth coming into picture, people who are trying for progeny, people who are trying to conceive during this time, it's a very karmic period. And therefore, this might sound absurd to some people, but you have to understand Ketu is carrying the past life legacy. So a past karmic connection could become a part of your family lineage of, in your further cycle. However, for people who are beyond that, this is a period where you could feel that parenting in itself could become extremely confusing, extremely demanding. You might not, you might feel a lot of heaviness within you and may not exactly know how to deal with situations. Second, this is also going to bring royal detachment of sorts. Now, why do I say detachment? Because one, Magha is a royal nakshatra and Ketu is bringing that detachment. So somewhere there is a possibility that all those desires, ambitions you could be chasing with Rahu, you might get ended up being offered a leadership opportunity, a new enticing creative project, something related in your romantic life, which could be extremely exciting. It could be pivotal for you, but at the same time, you feel strange emptiness within you. It can reflect in your education as well, guys. But from a speculative trading perspective, it can be detrimental because this may not be the best time for taking crazy amount of bets. This is a time where you will get applause because Ketu is sitting in the sign of Leo. You will get fame and respect, but that doesn't matter to you. I think it's a emotion of getting something too late, or maybe your eyes getting set on a bigger goal, a bigger desire. The third bit for this period is that your past life creativity is going to come to the fore. Somewhere all the modern constructs that you see distracting all around you, you are going to lose interest during this period from that sphere, because more or more you are going to become obsessed with ancient knowledge, ancient information, history, lineage of some sorts, looking deep inside and trying to find your strengths, something that you really find cool to operate with. And that is what is going to take a massive undertaking from your creative pursuits perspective as well. Even some sort of a dark turn, dark energy in terms of your creativity could come into picture. So be mindful on those regards too. Now, the important bit again here is that Rahu is still sitting in Shatapisha Nakshatra. It's giving an aspect towards your seventh house. So given that Ketu is in the fifth, at its peak, operating with twice the value, there could be a severe detachment in romance with your married partner too. If you are a married person, it's not just for the single people. But at the same time, you might on the other side of the spectrum get obsessed with the amount of money your partner is making, or you can collectively make in this partnership. So that sort of a push and pull sort of a strategy is going to keep coming into picture. The third phase is what I will define as the wealth drum for you guys, Aries, because this is the time from August 23rd till December 5th where Rahu is now entering into the nakshatra of Dhanishta, whilst Ketu continues in the Magha nakshatra itself. Now, this is a time, guys, where I definitely anticipate, given that Rahu is entering into the nakshatra of wealth itself, ruled by Mars, there is going to be, and Mars happens to be your Lord, guys. So there is going to be some personal impact, some personal touch coming into picture for you guys, Aries. Number one, I anticipate some sort of an income spark coming into play, because now this appears to be the most powerful period for wealth creation, wealth generation from a Rahu Ketu axis perspective. Rahu is in Dhanishta. It's going to amplify your desires, your goals, the need for liquid cash for that matter. Investments during this phase, especially in around real estate, technology associated companies, can multiply in value, because at the end of the day, Rahu is coming into the nakshatra of Mars. So I've tried to connect those dots from Mars areas of interest for you. The second bit is this is a time for aggressive, obsessive networking period for you. You are going to become a networking machine, or utilizing networks for your fullest, be it LinkedIn, social media in terms of Facebook, Google, YouTube, or any of those TikTok products that help you expand your reach, your connect with the market. This is a time where you and your friends collectively can also achieve what you want. However, there might be some situations of conflict coming in your friend network as well. So be watchful on that front. Now, the third important bit is, remember the Mars Rahu fuel. Mars is your lord. It is ruling you, and the transit is going to make you hyper ambitious. So I feel whilst on one side of the spectrum, you might feel almost unstoppable in terms of collecting gains, but that pursuit of finding more could burn you out as well. So be watchful on that front, because Ketu is giving an aspect to the Lagna. The important bit to check is that Ketu is in Magha. it is in trine house itself, and therefore again that richness in life, that wealth attraction is coming. But somewhere deep down inside Aries, you are going to internally question your identity. You're going to question what is really making you happy. So I'm talking about both layers, the material layer as well as the spiritual layer, that you are going to be oscillating between. The grand finale, however, occurs when Rahu is entering the sign of Capricorn on December 5th onwards. We're not going to capture about the 2027 year, but Ketu enters into the sign of Cancer for you folks in your fourth house. Now, this is a period where Rahu and Ketu are coming in your 410 axis, and therefore the obsession towards this direction is going to come into picture. The first bit during this phase you have to remember is, post the shift of Rahu and Ketu on December 5th onwards, that career is going to become an obsession for you. I would be surprised if people are not associating themselves as workaholic in nature during this period. It's going to be all about gaining momentum in your career, some sort of a job shift opportunity. Rahu, any which ways, is in Mars nakshatra itself, Dhanishta nakshatra. So that is coming into picture. Gaining status from a social level perspective is going to become your priority. But at the same time, there is a potential of having an absolute detachment from Ketu's perspective in your fourth house. There could be a sudden shift of sorts from your homeland, from your current place of residence. Some sort of a pivot is going to come, maybe because of the new job opportunity that you could be chasing. The other possibility is that this is a time where you might have to move, or you might also feel emotionally distant, not being able to give enough time physically to your family members as well. Lack of peace from that perspective, because the focus is towards the outer world. And the last bit is the Ashlesha knot. Guys, Ashlesha is the nakshatra of Mercury, and Ketu is entering Ashlesha in a Gandant, right? And this is a deep physiological, psychological release of sorts coming into picture, because the emotional burden that you've been carrying for a long time, you might want to let go of that emotional energy as well during this period. So that is going to be crucial. We have to balance both the outer as well as the inner world. There could be letting go of some sorts in terms of forgiving somebody, not holding on to that last bit of discontentment that you've had with a certain individual. That comes into picture here. Now, throughout the year 2026, I think you've got to focus to the fact that Rahu is predominantly in your 11th house. Work towards a large cause, a big cause. Maybe associate yourself with some sort of an NGO as well. It is going to act as a brilliant remedy in terms of bringing that balance in your life if you're oscillating in one direction. That is the first bit that I would want to call out. Balance your gluttony, balance your greed, find a spectrum towards the other side of things in terms of doing some humanitarian activities. The second bit from a Ketu fifth house perspective is that anybody who comes to me about Ketu, I say Ganesha is the right answer. There is the only answer in terms of letting go, getting a resolution of all the confusion, all that detachment that you could experience. And it's not an easy placement to have Ketu in the fifth house. And last but not the least, guys, in phase two, as I called out from a timelines perspective, when Ketu is entering into your Magha nakshatra, you've got to be thinking about your ancestors. Do some sort of an activity. Any kind of remedy towards your ancestors is going to be extremely remedial, and that should help you in the long run. Now guys, if you've come this far, before you skip and jump onto any other video, my request is please support the effort and the insights that I bring to the table. Please support me by smashing that like button. Help me cross 500 likes for this video. Subscribe to my channel and tell me your comments, ideas as to what can I do to improve and get better. Thanks for watching. Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Mahadev.